Good morning, everybody. We are talking about narrative techniques. Please have a look into part one and part two of narrative techniques. And as I told you, how an author tells a story is possibly more important than the story itself. How the author recounts a particular section of the story, how he talks to you through his writing. These are all different narrative techniques are used by different authors in different ways. We have studied about anachronies, allusion, symbols, irony, deus ex machina. Then we also looked into the second section about with respect to epigraphs, epiphany, anthropomorphism, parody, and pastiche. Now, today we will be having a look at the next three, the last three, which is the what you call the interior monologue, stream of consciousness, and polyphony. These are three techniques that narrators use, authors use to uh, to show the reader or to make the reader understand their particular writing. So here, there is a small quote found on page 24, which I would like to read to you. This is from Jonathan Gottschall's The Storytelling Animal. We are, as a species, addicted to story. Even when the body goes to sleep, the mind stays up all night telling itself stories. So I'm sure your mother or someone else would have told you a story or read out a story to you or narrated an incident to you, which is a story. So see, we are, as Jonathan Gottschall says, we are as a species addicted to story. Even when the body goes to sleep, the mind stays up all night telling itself stories. So how do narrators narrate their story to you, and how do they convince you, and how do how do they conjure a sort of story in your mind? This is narration. These are certain narrative techniques that authors use, and we have interior monologue, stream of consciousness, and polyphony that we will be looking into. So the first one is interior monologue. In interior monologue, it's basically the interior. It is a representation of the character's inner thoughts. So whatever is happening inside the character, the inner thoughts are being brought out. Now, here, an interior monologue is a written representation of a character's inner thoughts, impressions, and memories, as if directly overheard without apparent intervention of a summarizing or selecting narrator. So it's like, somehow we are overhearing it. We are overhearing this, but basically it is the mind of that particular character. This is what you call an interior monologue. This, you should not confuse this with dialogue. Dialogue is a two-way conversation. This is interior. So what is happening inside the character, this is being told out, and this we are able to read, or this the author is narrating to us. This is a particular technique, and this particular technique is known as an interior monologue. Now, who uses this? James Joyce. The most celebrated example is the final chapter in James Joyce's Ulysses. In Ulysses, you will find that Ulysses is thinking a lot, and that whatever he's thinking is being brought out. And this particular technique is known as an interior monologue. This is one. The next technique that authors use is what you call a stream of consciousness. Now, a stream of consciousness it's a stream. What is stream? It's like a river, just keeps flowing. A mode of narration that represents continuous flow of sense perceptions, thoughts, feelings, and memories from the human mind. So whatever is happening in the human mind, a continuous sort of flow of this, like a stream, like a river. This sort of continuous flow of thoughts, of feelings, of memories of this human mind is another technique used by narrators, and it's called the stream of consciousness technique. Here, Virginia Woolf's The Lighthouse, and the one that you see in your PPT, William Faulkner's The Sound and the Fury, they make, both these authors make extensive use of the stream of consciousness technique. So the stream of consciousness is another technique or authors use or writers use to narrate their story or to recount their story. The next one is what you call the polyphony. Now here in polyphony, one of the best writers in polyphony would be Dostoevsky. Now Dostoevsky is the creator of this novelistic genre. Now polyphony, poly means multiple, many. Polyphony means many voices. So a polyphonic novel offers a democratic ambience in which the narrators and characters enjoy equal stature. So it's like the narrator, whoever says, the author says, the characters also will be saying it out, will be also speaking. So where the narrator and the characters, enjoy an equal stature, they enjoy sort of equality. This sort of a novel narration or this sort of a writing is known as polyphony. So Dostoevsky is the originator of this sort of novelistic genre. So I think in the background you can see that sort of web. So you have the narrator, you have the characters, all of them, are sort of equal in this. So in a polyphonic novel, characters are portrayed not as objects of narration of an omniscient narrator, but as subjects capable of self-expression. So everyone can speak, everyone can say something, and everyone's voice is heard. Now this is what you call, or this is what is known as polyphony. So this is another technique that authors use, writers use to narrate something. So thank you very much.